Hello, I'm Emma Howard and we're talking about breastfeeding here on the Baby Channel. With me is Heather Welford, who's an NCT breastfeeding counsellor. And next to you we've got Tara and 4.5-month-old Ruby, who's just latched on. She couldn't quite wait for us and she's enjoying it, but she's also pulling off. You're at that stage where she's fidgety, aren't you?
Yes, very much so.
Actually, talk to us, Heather, about the stage that we're watching here. This is a baby who's desperate to breastfeed. She's also pulling off and looking around. This is a new stage, isn't it?
It is, and older babies can sometimes be distractible. And we kept poor little Ruby waiting a bit. She got a little bit agitated, so she's going to need to calm down a little bit from that stage where that moment where she was agitating to be fed.
That's quite crucial, isn't it? When babies are upset, they don't feed well. It sounds really obvious, and yet when you're rushing about with a new baby and you've left them because you've got to do something else, and they get upset, you almost have to have that calming moment. Here we go.
That's right.
Fine example of it. There's no point carrying on, is there? Calm her down, and then put her back again. Oh well, Ruby, you're demonstrating this beautifully for us.
I think she's also tired.
I'm sure she is. And this is the right approach, isn't it? And Tara's doing fantastically here.
She is. She's responding. She's probably not even consciously thinking about it, are you, by now? 4.5 months. They're tuned into one another, and Ruby can communicate with Tara really effectively, and Tara knows what to do. She just takes her off, calms her down, and she's shushing her nice and gently in her ear there. That's nice, and we're getting to a stage where she can probably put her back on again. She's ready to get stuck in on the feed again.
And the fidgeting can happen after how many weeks? Because they're quite focused in the beginning, aren't they?
Well, you can get babies stopping and starting even as newborns. They can get themselves very wound up because they want to feed. They haven't quite yet learnt how to put all those instincts into place, and a feed of a newborn might last an hour, you know, off and on,
Yes,
not quite
people
really getting it together.
And all babies and mums are different, aren't they? So breasts sort of let down at different rates. I mean, what's going on there?
That's right. Each mother and baby is a unique partnership, and they've both got to learn how to breastfeed effectively and happily. And different things will happen in the birth that might influence the feeding experience. Mothers do breastfeed, they lactate, they make milk at different rates. That's why following any book or anybody's advice absolutely slavishly isn't going to help anybody, because your baby might not fit that particular pattern. It's getting to know your baby.
And that's what you want in the beginning. You want to be told exactly what to do and when to do it, because there's so much to take on board. And so it's quite a hard message to take on, really, isn't it? That you are an individual and so's your baby.
Yeah, and being patient, being kind with yourself, accepting that everything isn't going to fall in place on the first day. That will help you, and paying attention to positioning and attachment. If it hurts, get help with getting the baby on in a way that isn't painful for you, and just, you know, not expecting to get everything right from day one, because for most people it doesn't happen like that.
No, and indeed Tara had that experience. Tara, Ruby's your first, isn't she?
Yes, she is, yes.
And you seem to be working very well together as a team now. I know that she's overtired, but and you're very, very sort of automatically knowing how to calm her down. But when you started, and just before she was born, you were quite worried about breastfeeding her, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. A lot of my friends had already had children, and obviously trying to breastfeed, and quite a few of them had a lot of difficulties with it, and they gave up sort of, 10 days, 2 weeks after.
And did you think that might be you as well?
And I just thought, obviously it doesn't work for everybody, and you're told that it's the most natural thing, and you think, obviously it's going to work, and then you hear about lots of other people who, their milk didn't come in, or their nipples weren't, good enough.
That's what women are often told. Yeah. It's awful to see it, because it's one of those deeply emotional things. This is your baby, you should be feeding your baby, and then your baby arrives and it doesn't all come together.
That's right, and you really want, I really wanted a breastfeed. I didn't have the birth that I wanted. I'd like to have a water birth, and that didn't happen, and I was thinking, I just hope I can do this breastfeeding, because I know that, it's meant to be the best thing.
So you were determined from the beginning?
I was really determined, and even though, when I went home I had a few difficulties, and I phoned up a helpline that I'd been given.
And the NCT, of course, have a helpline that you can ring the number of, don't they?
There is help for people who have problems. And somebody came to see you.
Yes.
So somebody came to the house, fantastic.
Yeah, it was lovely. I was lying on the settees, I couldn't move at all, and trying to get her to feed. And you're very worried when they're so little, if they're taking enough milk. And I phoned up this helpline, and a lady came, Claire Davis from Sure Start, and she came around the next day and just observed me feeding Ruby, and then
seeing if you were in the right position.
Yes, and just made tiny little adjustments, and that just made all the difference. And also you're told that it shouldn't hurt you, and it was hurting a lot. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm not doing it right, and you do get worried, especially when you don't know.
And you beat yourself up about it.
Yeah, you do.
I remember those
guilty.
feelings myself,
Yeah.
that it's not supposed to hurt, and it was absolutely killing me. And thinking, how do I get this right? Why don't we explore this further? Let's talk about position. I mean, what position should the baby be in? And we'll see if Ruby can demonstrate to us in a minute. Let's make sure she's a little happier. She's getting there. What's the ideal position?
Well, there's no one position that fits all. The crucial thing is where the breast and the nipple is in the baby's mouth. The baby can be hanging from the chandelier, or you can have the baby rugby ball, or lying down, or whatever. The crucial thing is what's going on in this area.
Right.
And we find when we help mothers with positioning and attachment, what is sometimes happening is that the nipple is going in and being pushed out by the tongue. So the nipple and the breast need to be in the top third of the mouth, where the dome of the palate makes a nice big space, and that means that the baby can draw in a lot of breast. The nipple goes down the back of the throat and isn't being compressed by the tongue against the hard palate.
Shall we see do you think that Ruby might want to go on now, or do you think that she
might?
Shall we try? Can you talk us through this? If we can't do this on the baby channel, where can you? Let's see if we can. Heather, can you talk us through this positioning?
Yeah, well,
and of course you've got those fantastic nursing bras on, so they come down. Hopefully
very handy.
Go on.
Well, we can. She's turning on. She knows what's happening because she's done this many hundreds of times.
In eager anticipation. Yeah. You're going to go on for us, Ruby.
Is she going to open her mouth wide? She will do it without. Nice wide mouth and sucking in there. She's got
and her mouth should be coming a lot of the areolae, shouldn't it? The dark patch around the nipple.
This varies because women's areola differ in size, and if you've got areola the size of saucers, some people have, you're never going to get it all in the baby's mouth. It's really making sure that she's got a good mouthful of breast, some of which will indeed be covered by this coloration of the areola. I can see that she's. No, she's come off again now. She's messing about a bit. She knows what to do. We don't need to be too worried about a baby.
In fact, in Ruby's case, she's quite a confident feeder, isn't she? So
she knows she can come off, and she knows how to get on again really quickly. And she's too distractible. Yeah, you're listening. Yeah, very typical of a baby of this age.
But it's interesting what you say about women's areolae being different sizes, because if you are told, well, the mouth should cover it and yours isn't, again, it makes you feel that you're failing. And you particularly had a problem with that, Tara, didn't you? Because of your colouring, your beautiful red hair and your freckles. You were told that you'd be susceptible to sore, cracked nipples.
It would be more painful because of my colouring, and that makes you very anxious, And
not a great start.
Already. No,
and this is a complete myth, isn't it, Heather?
Yeah, it is. I'm similar colouring to Tara, and all those years ago I was told exactly the same thing. What makes the difference is not your colouring, but how the baby is positioned and attached. And you can have very dark skin and dark hair. You can still be sore if the baby is nipping the nipple between her tongue and the hard palate. It doesn't matter what colour skin. The skin is going to break down because the nipple skin is very fragile because it's thin. It's got to transmit a lot of nerve sensations to the brain to tell the brain to start letting down the milk. And so if it's in the wrong position, it's very friable. But if it's in the right position, down the back of the baby's throat, the baby has a big mouthful of breast and can start sucking and swallowing, and the nipple will not be compressed.
Well, thank you very much for bringing Ruby in, I should say, Tara, to demonstrate some of that. And Heather, you and I will be talking about positioning later on as well. But for the moment, thank you very much, all three of you.